welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a little bit different. I have never done a video like this one before. I'm pretty excited about it, honestly. It's coming up on Halloween and I've had a lot of requests to do Halloween themed videos, but I still wanted to keep it in the realm of what I do when it comes to missing persons, unsolved murders. So today's video is actually on two Jane Does that are possibly connected and both happened on or very close to Halloween. The first one is the Walker County Jane Doe. A woman was found by a truck driver on Highway 45 in Texas on November 1st, 1980. She was found face down, she was naked, she had been assaulted sexually and just physically beaten, and she was also strangled by a pair of stockings. She was found right off the side of the highway in a sort of ditch area, and there was not really much around her body except for a pair of red sandals. She was a white female. She was possibly around 5'5". She had brown hair, brown eyes, and they were estimating that she was between 14 and 16 years old. The only distinctive marking on her body was a scar that she had right above her right eyebrow, and she also had her ears pierced. When you're looking at Jane or John Doe cases, there's really not much you have to go on. Obviously, if no one comes out and claims them, you have to make a bunch of assumptions, which, based on the other videos that we do, that can be very far off. So they took a couple things into consideration to try to really nail down where she could have possibly been from and what her life previously had been like. Based on the condition of her body and her teeth, she seemed to be fairly well maintained. Her teeth were taken care of, her nails had been trimmed, so they were assuming she was from a middle-class family. However, the only solid fact of information that we do have on this Jane Doe is that she was murdered around 3 in the morning on November the 1st, so right after Halloween night. There was not much to suggest who her attacker may have been. Police assumed that she was just tossed on the side of the highway after being assaulted. The only thing that her attacker did leave behind was bite marks on her shoulder. Majority of people believe that she was killed by a serial killer. The state in which her body was found and the things that this person did to her body did indicate that this person had done this before. It was very specific, which is something that serial killers are known for. They've got their things that they do. So everyone was 100% under the assumption that there was a serial killer in the area at the time. Local authorities started asking around to see if anyone that night had seen her, and they surprisingly got quite a few phone calls. There were a lot of people claiming that they had spoken to her. They all described pretty much the same outfit, and they even went as deep to talk about the conversations that they had with this girl. They all said she was wearing a dirty yellow long sleeve shirt with jeans and a very oversized white sweater with oversized pockets that kind of dangled down. And every single one of them also said that she had been carrying red sandals. Unfortunately, since she was found face down and naked, they did not find any of her clothing in or around the scene. The manager of a truck stop did see her get out of a vehicle. It was a two-toned blue Chevrolet, possibly Caprice, around 6:30 p.m. Halloween night. There was a white man driving it, but to him, he didn't think she necessarily knew this man. He was under the impression that she had been hitchhiking. She asked him for directions to Ellis Prison, and then she headed out on foot, which again supports the theory that she was hitchhiking. Then later on that night, she came back to the restaurant that was at the truck stop and again asked a waitress for directions to the prison. The waitress was immediately concerned because this girl did look very young. As I said before, she was only between 14 to 16 years of age, and based on pictures that I have seen, she looks on the younger side of that. The waitress asked this girl how old she was, and the girl responded with 19, but it was a very, very obvious lie. At that point, she asked if her parents had any idea where she was, and the girl replied, "Who cares?" The girl claimed that she had a friend that she absolutely needed to see, so the waitress took a piece of paper or a napkin, not sure which, and scribbled down a little map for the girl, and she once again headed out on foot. Only information that she did give the waitress, other than her age, which was very obviously a lie, was that she was from Rockport, Texas. However, again, if she lied about her age, I would not put it past this person to possibly lie about where they were from as well, to keep their identity hidden. The police then went to the prison and asked inmates and everyone who had been there that night if they knew her or had seen her, and not a single person knew of this girl. Not a single person at least claimed to know of her, and none of the guards had seen her either. So she never even made it to the prison to see this friend that she apparently so desperately wanted to see. They then went to Rockport, Texas to see if anyone knew who this girl was, since that is where she claimed to have been from, but there were no families searching for their daughter in Rockport. They even went to the schools and asked if there was a girl that had been missing or stopped showing up for classes, and again they left empty-handed. January 16th, 1981, she was buried in Oakwood Cemetery in Huntsville, Texas. Her body was then exhumed in 1999 by a forensic anthropologist. They wanted to get a better idea of her weight, which was between 105 and 120 pounds, and her height, and they also wanted to have a sample of DNA on file. After that, everything went quiet on her case, and then something very interesting happened on December the 12th, 2015, which is fairly recent. A photograph surfaced in 1980 of a 14-year-old possible runaway girl named Kathleen. A brother and sister who were 10 and 12 years old actually met this girl the summer of 1980 in a motel in Beesville, Texas. The girl Kathleen did claim to be from Corpus Christi. At the time, she lived with a couple, and she did say she was trying to visit a friend that was in prison. However, it was Sugarland Prison, not Ellis Prison. The brother and the sister provided this picture and are pretty adamant that this is the girl that they saw that summer. However, they've not been able to determine if that's true or if that's false. So now people are searching to see if this Kathleen girl is still alive, if she's still out there somewhere, so maybe they could rule out that this was possibly Walker County Jane Doe, or if she's nowhere to be found, maybe that's because she is Walker County Jane Doe. They decided to take the bite on her shoulder and compare dental marks with a serial killer named Henry Lee Lucas. This serial killer is a very interesting one. He had a thing for admitting to murders that he did not commit. You could ask him about any murder and he would claim that he knew everything about it. He would give you a background to it, what he did to the person. He would really convince you that he was the one who murdered this person. However, when they compared the dental records, they did not match. And interestingly enough, when he was told it was not a match, even though he had said he killed this girl, his excuse for that was that he had dental reconstruction, and even one of the detectives on the case still believes that he was the one who killed Walker County Jane Doe. Then the murder of Walker County Jane Doe started being compared to another Jane Doe known as Orange Socks. Orange Socks was murdered on October the 31st, 1979, so almost down to the day. It's very, very similar. The victim was found completely naked, once again, except for a pair of orange socks that she wore, which is what gave her the name of Jane Doe Orange Socks. They did determine that the cause of death as well was also strangulation. She was between 15 and 30, which to me, that is a very, very large gap. I'm not really sure how they couldn't narrow that down some more, but they do say she was somewhere between 15 and 30 years old. She had red hair and hazel eyes and was between 5 foot 8 inches and 5 foot 10 inches. It's also believed that she weighed between 140 and 160 pounds. She was found along a highway in Georgetown, Texas, south of the Williamson and Bell County line on Highway 35, and she was found in the same sort of area that Walker County Jane Doe was. It's obvious that she had been dragged across a guardrail because there were markings on her body suggesting so. However, she is considered to be a runaway based on the state of her body. She had unshaven legs and untreated sexually transmitted disease. Her fingernails were very dirty and very, very long. Her eyebrows were very unkempt, and just overall, it appeared as if she did not have resources to properly maintain her hygiene. She had a 1/4 inch scar on her hairline, a scar on her chin, and her ears were pierced. It's also believed that she was apparently hitchhiking. They did a segment on the news, and right afterwards they received a phone call from a woman who claimed to have seen her walking on the same highway. We're still looking for this woman who called because she did remain anonymous. However, she called in 3 separate times with information about this girl. So while she's not considered necessarily a person of interest in a criminal way, she did seem to have a lot of information and 100% wanted to stay anonymous. Henry Lee Lucas appears yet again in this case. He actually confessed to her murder, I want to say it was about 4 times, and then the last time was in 1982. He claimed that he picked her up hitchhiking in Oklahoma City the day before he murdered her, which would make sense because she had a matchbook on her and a key card that had the name of 2 different motels in Oklahoma City. He also even claimed to know her name and said that it was either Jody or Joni. In 1984, he was then convicted and he was sentenced to death for the murder of Orange Socks. However, Shortly afterwards, he decided to take back his confession. George W. Bush, that was governor at the time, then commuted his death sentence to life in prison right before his execution date because there was some discrepancies in his story. News reports and an attorney general surfaced that he actually might have been in Florida at the time of Orange Sock's murder. And once again, because he did have a history of confessing to any murder you laid in front of him, it's very possible that he was just lying for attention. Neither one of these girls have been identified yet, and the killer has also not been identified. It is still one giant mystery. It's so fascinating to me because I do cases where there's missing persons, and you know who they are, and you know most of their background. But with Jane and John Doe's, it's just people that no one out there is claiming. Which I find incredibly bizarre. You know, this person at one point did have a family. This person at one point did come into contact with someone. So someone out there definitely knows something, or someone out there has seen this person, and someone out there is the one who murdered them. So these cases to me are just as important as missing persons cases, and they're so much more complicated to solve. There's a Jane and John Doe network where they keep all of the information on these people up on a website, all collected into one area. Which I think is extremely important, so these people are not forgotten. So I want to take this time to tell you guys something new that's going to be happening on my channel that I am incredibly excited about. I have decided to do something interesting for the next couple of months that I really think you guys will enjoy. I've been looking for a way to switch up my content, add some new things in here and there, because it's nice to do something a little bit different every once in a while. So every single month from November on, I think I have it planned through May, I'm going to be starting a new series on my channel. So Saturdays will stay missing persons, and then Wednesdays, for instance, in November is going to be all solved cases, and then it will change in December to a new style of video, and then it'll change in January. And I'm pretty excited about this. You guys have really suggested very specific genres that you want to see me create videos on, all in the same little realm, and I've created a fun way of giving that to you, and I'm really excited. There's going to be a couple channel takeovers where I have someone else doing my videos on Wednesdays, and it's going to be interesting. I know that sounds a little bit strange, but I think you guys are really going to enjoy it, and I'm really excited about it, so I hope you guys are really excited about it. I'm so pumped for Solved. I know that it can be kind of draining to watch these videos where it's not solved. There is no ending, there is no answer. So hopefully this Solved series will be a little refreshing in a very strange sense, where you actually get to see what happened. And I think it's interesting because we'll be able to step into the perspective of the other side that unfortunately with unsolved murders and missing person cases we don't normally get to see. So definitely stay tuned for that. But check out all of my social media sites listed down below. I talk to you guys there all the time. And please do not forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this, and give me a huge thumbs up. My YouTube family here is absolutely amazing, and I would love for you to join it. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.